Hello, I'm Lindsay Stein, the consumer reporter at PR Week, and I'm here at the PR Week conference joined with Jolie Hunt, the Chief Marketing Communications Officer for AOL, and she just joined our panel for the Battle of the Big Ideas. Thank you for being with us today.
Thank you so much for having me, Lindsay.
So on the panel, you talked about social media and Twitter and how Twitter is who you are and what you tweet is who you are. So why don't you tell me a little bit more about that?
Sure. Well, look, I think it was a little bit of a provocative conversation to have, certainly as someone who's not a social media expert and not really all that active on Twitter. So I think it's one of those where people are gonna, everyone started following me. I got the real-time updates and they said, make sure you tweet before you leave today. And I said, okay, I will do that. I mean, look, the heart of it really is this notion of convergence, and that our industry is really going through this just tsunami of change where social media is no longer an outlier, right? You have to invite that conversation into your PR discussions, into your marketing plans. And I think that the whole notion of being someone else out in that social space, but then you come to work and you're a totally different person, is a thing of the past, right? And you'll see now all these disclaimers on Twitter like, these are my opinions, please don't associate them with my company. But the reality is that people associate them with you, and you as Lindsay Stein, people are gonna associate you with PR Week or who you're dating or what you're eating or what you're wearing or how your hair looks.
I always try to be cautious.
Exactly. So I think that one of the points I was trying to make today is that the internet lives forever, right? And there's no kind of eraser, right, where you can kind of take the board and just move it, right? That is out there and you have to live with it. So I think that in a time of speed, we have to be more purposeful than ever in making sure that we know what we're doing and we know what we're saying, because we have to live with those consequences.
And does this concept affect at all like the workforce or the staff you hire?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I've grown up with social media. So, as I was saying to you earlier, people that are adaptable and sort of can roll with the punches of how quickly things are moving. I think the biggest change for our industry has been the speed, and the speed that's enabled via technology. And so I think this is no longer a digital conversation or a social conversation, but it's what is the conversation and how are we more comfortable with it? And the whole lack of control, or at least the perceived lack of control, I think scares people in my types of roles, because I think that the illusion of control hasn't been there for a long time, but I think the reality of it really not being there is sort of bedded in now. Yeah,
and something actually I wanted to ask you didn't have time really to talk about, but I thought it was a really cute concept, was the arranged marriage between marketing and communications.
Yeah.
Can you tell me a little bit more about that?
Sure. I mean, look, I think that there's so much discussion about marketing and communications and the point of view. And I mean, even when I was going to school, I went to Boston University and I was a communications major. I mean, we didn't talk to the marketers, we didn't talk to the journalists. And I think that, should we keep going? Yeah. Okay. And I think that whole tension between the two, you're forced to sort of fight against each other. But in a time of limited attention and limited marketing dollars, you're all there to serve the reputation of the company, of the chief executive, of the leadership, of the products that you put out into the world. And I think that we can't afford to fight, right? We're in this thing together, and now we just have to get a little bit smarter about our role and everyone else's role that's really touching the reputation of all parties involved.
Very true, and I'm looking forward to seeing what AOL has to offer.
Yes, me too.
Well, thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you.